How are you? Ken Arzon here in Vista, California, holding up my fourth book. Today is Thursday, March 27th, 2025. I've written 10 baseball books. This is number 4. What's it called? Old School versus New School Baseball. Which players had better stats and achievements? The old school era, I start with 1870 and go all the way to 1950. It's about an 80-year period. Then I go from that's old school. 1870, 1950, old school. And then 1951 through 2024 is the new school era. Which players in those eras were better? Was it the old school era, the 80-year period, or the new school era from 1951 through 2024? Old school won. And how did I do it? I compared the batting averages. These are the categories. First, I'll tell you how many pages this is. 253 pages, and it came out to be 33 chapters. I took these categories from each era. Batting average, most hits, runs scored, runs batted in, home runs, triples, doubles, singles, slugging, on base, total bases, base on balls, stolen bases. That was for the hitters. Old school era hitters. Who was better in those categories? And then I did the new school era and I compared them. Old school won a lot of the categories. Then I did pitching. I did wins, innings, games started, complete games, strikeouts, shutouts, ERA. Who was better as far as pitching in the eras? Old school won. Then I did defense. Games played, fielding percentage, chances, putouts, assists, double plays, innings, fewest errors. Old school won. And then I ranked the players. Then I ranked the pitchers. Then I looked at the records. So this was book number 4. You may say, why does the old school win? Well, for example, in home runs, obviously from 1870 through about 1920, not very many home runs hit. So in the new school players are from 1951 to 2025, they hit more home runs. So new school won in that era. But as far as adding up all the categories that I mentioned, in batting average, hits, runs scored, runs batted in, triples, doubles, singles, slugging on base, total bases, base on balls, stolen bases. Old school dominated. If you compare the eras of the players. Now, what happened in the new school era where they didn't win in some of these categories? Too many strikeouts. Also, I guess the pitching in some cases dominated in some of the categories. But as far as the pitchers, you've got to admit it, a lot of those guys in the old school era won 30, 40, 50 games in a season. Why? They were playing or they were pitching 2 or 3 days. Today's pitchers, start every 5 days, or sometimes every 6 days, and they go 5 innings. The pitchers of the old school era, you've got to admit it, went 9 innings, 10 innings, 11 innings, and they have more complete games. Their ERA was pretty good too. And more shutouts. Walter Johnson at 110. Very rarely today's era, the new school, you have a pitcher pitching a shutout, right? You agree with that? And strikeouts. Now, Nolan Ryan dominated in that category, right? 5,000 strikeouts. The old school pitchers didn't have as many strikeouts, but that was one of the areas of the new school won. But if you add up all the pitching categories, complete games, games started, innings pitched, wins, ERA, new school won in the saves, because in the old school era, they weren't saving games as much. The starting pitcher got the win. He went the distance. New school pitchers are 5, 6 innings, 7th innings sometimes. Very few complete games. So this was a labor of love. Old school versus new school baseball. I go through it all. That's book number 4. Next video. Book number 5. I wrote 10 baseball books. Number 5 is next. Talk to you later. I'm out.